Good afternoon and welcome to the Software Engineering Institute's webinar series. My name is Shane McGraw. I'd like to thank you all for attending today's webinar. Our webinar series presentation today is Transforming Your Operational Resilience Management Capabilities, CERT's Resilience Management Model, presented by speaker Rich Corrali. And now I'd like to turn the presentation over to Rich Corrali. Rich?
Okay, thank you, Shane. A warm welcome to everybody who's joined us this afternoon. We've done several of these on the CERT resilience model, and today we're going to do a slightly different spin by giving you a little more deeper dive into the model and some of the things that we're doing with it. And by demand, we are going to talk a little bit about the PS Prep program, it's FEMA's program, in context with CERT RMM so that we can answer some of those questions. I wanted to extend an additional welcome to our friends from the financial community because it's many of you who put a lot of time and energy into this model and have made it a success. And it's really great to have you back in the fold. And I'm hoping that we can soon restart our dialogue to see how you guys are making use of this material in the field. With that said, there are about 70 some slides in this deck. We won't go through all of them today, but I wanted to include them so that when you go back and look at this webinar online, you'll have some of this deeper knowledge base if you need to rely on it. We'll go through the ones that we need to sort of give you the understanding of the model today as we intended. The slide you see right now is the agenda. We're going to talk about what the model is, how we got there, give you a little bit of the sense of the underlying premise of the model. A model and a concept is kind of unusable if you don't have tactical and practical means to make it usable. So we'll go into some of that. We'll give you a little view into what we call CERT RMM credentialing. We are starting to devise roles that organizations can play in adopting and using the model for process improvement. I want to expose you to that today. And then again, as I said before, talk a little bit about RMM and PS Prep. So I guess simply, CERT RMM is a capability model for managing and improving operational resilience. You might ask what the difference between a capability model is and a capability maturity model, which certainly the SEI is famous for, instantiated in models like CMMI for development. The difference between those models is that a capability model allows for improvement by process. So there isn't an aggregation of processes or a prescriptive way through the processes that would allow for some articulation of organizational maturity. So that is typically what you see in CMMI. In CERT RMM, we use that capability dimension as our maturity dimension, and I'll talk more about that later as we go through the presentation. As it says in the slide, we position operational resilience in a process improvement view in the model, and we break that into 26 process areas. So these are the 26 sort of instruments in the orchestra, if you will, that are all kind of playing toward the same tune. We focus on the operations phase of the life cycle. However, that's kind of inaccurate, and I'll show you why later, in that we do reach back into early phases of the life cycle, into requirements development and those sort of things, a tacit acknowledgement that resiliency starts early in the life cycle rather than being bolted on in the operations phase. We use the CMMI architecture for ease of adoption. So if you're a CMMI user, you will see vestiges of CMMI, including some process areas in RMM. And as I spoke in the beginning of this slide, we include a continuous representation, which in simple terms means you can adopt the model process area by process area and create your own improvement path. There is no prescriptive path through the model. Some of the distinguishing features of CERT RMM are in these advantages. The convergence advantage, the process advantage, and the maturity advantage, some of which I spoke about. But the convergence advantage is that we bring together in one model three disciplines: security, continuity, and IT ops. And part of the reason that we did that was in working with the financial community and in realizing that These activities are really all around operational risk, and converging them is brings a better solution toward resilience. So we'll get into this a little bit later in the presentation. The process advantage is taking this out of a practice mindset and elevating it to a process view where you have a better opportunity to sort of coalesce these activities across an organization, attach practices to the processes, and begin a measurement framework, a performance measurement framework. And of course, the maturity advantage is around the question of institutionalizing practices.